Welcome into this segment of Behind the Pen presented by mostvaluablepodcast.com. If you want to listen to the full podcast, go to blogtalkradio.com/mostvaluablepodcast. Also, we're on iTunes, so check us out there as well. Thank you all for listening as always, and enjoy the show. All right, we are cooking, ladies and gentlemen. We talked Bulls and Blackhawks for you right here on Behind the Pen, the first two segments of this show. We got to move on to what I've been looking forward to talking about for a long time now, and that is the Chicago Bears, as the NFL draft is about a week away, right? About a week away already, and they are in a very interesting spot at number 3 overall. The draft board's starting back to really early in this process, right before the combine and everything else. I was a big advocate of Jonathan Allen, a defensive end from Alabama. A lot of you I know are very familiar with the names listed at the top of many experts' mock drafts. However, when I look at the situation right now with the Chicago Bears, well, let's see what happens. So I'm going to dive into that. I'm going to talk about that with you guys because it's a lot of fun. And I want to throw this out there for you. Would you be upset if they took a chance and grabbed a guy like Mitchell Trubisky at 3, Deshaun Watson at 3? Is that going to happen? Yeah, guys, let me just flat out say I would appreciate it. I would say, let's go, Ryan Pace. You got it, baby. You're going to go out and get a guy. You're going to reach. You're going to make that commitment. I just don't think it's going to happen. Obviously, it doesn't really make sense to commit all that money to Mike Glennon and sign Mark Sanchez if you're going to go out and get a playmaker or a game changer, starting quarterback like Watson or Trubisky. But at the same time, if you really like the guy, right, if they're at the top of the board, you can grab him, either stash him or have him compete to Glennon, and Glennon loses his job because that's what he's known to do, is be backup. Be a backup for someone. But I think it is Mike Glennon's team, at least for next year, and the Bears may hold out on drafting a quarterback into the latter rounds. That's the feeling that I've had all draft season long, going even back to the regular season. I feel like that the quarterback class right now is way too questionable to take a risk up at 3. If a guy like Watson's available in the second round at pick 4 where the Bears are sitting, you get him, right? And I think that would be a win right there. But I don't know if Watson's going to fall into the second round. We shall see. It's a very interesting draft. This is one of the most inconsistent draft mocks that I've read all season long. You got really a lot of people on different sides of diagnosing talent. So let's keep an eye on it. But for the most part, like I said, I don't know if they're going to get I don't think they can do it. I don't think they can reach at a quarterback. There's no way. There's just way too much talent at the top of the draft. So let's name some names that have been linked to the Chicago Bears. So I mentioned, big advocate of Jonathan Allen, right? I have been all season long, but I'm starting to get a change of heart. His combine wasn't bad. He's going to turn into a quality pro-level talent, but I'm looking at the situation. Obviously, the arthritis is a concern. You look at it, well, you can get 7 to 8 quality seasons from this guy. And if you add him into the front 7 that is the Chicago Bears now, you are totally bolstering one of the best defensive, or at least that side of the ball, in the entire NFC North for sure. And competitively in the National Football League, they could be above top 10. So I'm sitting here looking at the strengths of Jonathan Allen, a guy who's quick off the ball, right? Varied approach as a pass rusher, excellent athletic ability, and possesses flexible hips, able to coordinate hands, feet, and hips to climb over the edge against tacklers, has play strength and quickness to rip through the weak inside pocket of a guard. So a little bit of analysis there that's provided by NFL.com, the draft prospect overview of Jonathan Allen. Weaknesses, lacking the height. Teams look for him defensive end, not very long, could struggle to win the race for hand positioning against long NFL tackles. Found himself engulfed by linemen with mass from time to time. A move inside could require more bulk. Not built to take on double teams. Doesn't possess lateral quickness to contain speedy running backs. And you can't discount the fact that Alabama had NFL quality players on that line. So Allen may have benefited from that. But that's what I'm looking at over in the side of Jonathan Allen. But if you look at the current situation with the Chicago Bears, wouldn't you want him to take a secondary piece at this point? I think that's the play, don't you think? Now, a lot of boards are starting to see Marshawn Lattimore there at 3. And you're starting to see Jamal Adams at 3. Malik Hooker, even. I'm reading a mock draft right now that has Malik Hooker going 3 for the Bears. So these are some of the names that we're looking at. We assume Solomon Thomas, Myles Garrett are going to go 1, 2, not in that order. Obviously, Myles Garrett is the clear consensus number 1 pick. You also have the option, possibly the 49ers take a quarterback. Are they going to run with Hoyer and Matt Barkley? We'll see. But if you're, like I said, are they quality enough? Are they worth it to reach that high in the draft? It's I don't know. I wouldn't do it if I was an NFL organization. So that leaves those names on the table. I think Jamal Adams is most likely the safest pick at 3 in this draft. You look at the needs, right? They have Quentin Demps and Adrian Amos right now back there. Jamal Adams instantly makes them better. And I'll tell you what, before I really dive into this, the Chicago Bears, I'm really starting to get excited, guys. And, I have to take myself back because last year I thought the Bears were going to go 10-6. I thought they were going to make the playoffs. They went 3-13, and they were the third worst team in football. So now you got to look. I'm taking a step back here. Their schedule got released, and it's tough, guys. It is not looking good. They got to open up against the Super Bowl runner-up, the Atlanta Falcons. Man, that's anyway. I'm looking at the position the Chicago Bears have, and Jamal Adams is their guy. And if you talk about adding depth, bolstering the competitive nature that is the Chicago Bears team, they are in such a better position going back to the prior years and the latter years of Mark Trestman and even the latter years of Lovie Smith. This team is starting to build athleticism. They're starting to build depth on that side of the ball. And sooner or later, this team is going to make an impact. They're going to be flying around the field. Plus, you compound that with one of the more influential and smart defensive minds in the game in Vic Fangio. You combine that with all of the talent that the Bears are hopefully going to acquire in this draft, combine it with prior draft picks. My goodness, this could be exciting. You added Jamal Adams to the mix. This could be something serious that we're dealing with. Strengths, natural born leader of men. You sold me. That's the first sentence of Jamal Adams. Natural born leader of men. Well built. Will not hesitate for 1 second as a hitter. Steps downhill looking to punish running backs to set the tone for defense. Toggles between patient and urgent and treks to the ball. Plays off blockers. Approaches target with open arms and wide. He's very good. Pretty much he can tackle. He's got very solid fundamentals in the open field. Plays with plus balance and coverage. A guy, you know the story. Jamal Adams, very good player. Weaknesses, handsy and too willing to clamp onto receivers downfield, hard charging downhill, but a little stiff when asking to retreat. Long speed appears to be average on tape. Eyes drop when target approach. His area anticipation is average, limiting his range as a center fielder. So he didn't, will give away some interceptions due to drops. Okay, that's going to happen. You're going to get better as a player. That's some of the weaknesses there of Jamal Adams, but that's really not concerning to me if you're going to look at a player. Now let's look at the other side of things. Malik Hooker, he's a guy who is raved about in terms of his athleticism, his instinct. The guy can make plays. He had 7 interceptions last year at Ohio State. So what do the Bears need? They've lacked playmakers on that side of the ball, especially in the secondary. We haven't seen that in a long time. So if you're looking for a guy who's going to jump up and rip the ball away from a player, look no further than Malik Hooker. Outstanding instincts help him work ahead of the play despite average speed, always probing quarterbacks' eyes for clues. Quick to process and is decisive in action, flows hard to where his instincts lead him. Has fluid movement of a basketball player in space, leans and bends into his turns for greater body control, always active and consistent on-field search for optimal positioning. So the guy knows where he has to be on the field. The guy can make a play. Some weaknesses, just 1 year of experience, raw and still learning nuances of the position. More instinctive against the pass than run. At times can be a step slow to trigger downhill to take on the run, will take on some questionable downhill angles to the ball. So, his instincts in terms of that side of the ball is lackluster, but he can learn. Obviously, only 1 year of experience at the position, he can learn. Balance issues show up on tape, still growing into his leggy frame. Will get caught guessing rather than reading. Squats on tight ends, slot receivers from man, gets grabby at the top of the route. All right, well, so they're similar to Jamal Adams, things that he has to work on, but everybody's going to have things to work on when you're a rookie into the NFL. And you want to look as a scout who can translate from college to the NFL seamlessly, guys who understand their weaknesses and can capitalize on the coach's ability on their staff to make them better. Who would you like, ladies and gentlemen, at pick number 3? Mitchell Trubisky. I've seen him linked to the Chicago Bears at 3, but I'm not going to get into it again. I think maybe a Davis Webb, I don't know where he falls, 4th round potentially, would be fine. Or unless Deshaun Watson he's there in the second round, go for it, because that would be exciting. Very exciting. But you look at, just real quick, Mitch Trubisky, kind of interesting because a lot of people are raving about this kid. Adequate height with good muscular definition, built to withstand physical challenges of the position, calm field general, very good pocket mobility. Good accuracy. He's got the arm to get it to where it has to be. He's got NFL strength, quality of throws. He can be an NFL quarterback for sure. Some weaknesses. Almost 98% of his dropbacks came from shotgun. So you're talking about NFL pro-style offense, Pat Mahomes, right? I think he's been credited to be the most football NFL ready in terms of playing at the position. Is he the most talented? Remains to be seen. Arm slot will drop way down, causing batted balls at the line of scrimmage. Too willing to float balls rather than airmailing them out of bounds when he's making bailout throw against pressure. Needs better drive accuracy of moving targets. Inconsistent deep ball. Has touchdown opportunities. He babies, invites defenders time to recover. Not always pocket aware. Hyper focuses on shifting parts down the field and can be late to feel pressure collapsing the edges. So this quarterback class, it's up in the air. I don't know. Who would you like? Who do you like? I'll ask that question. Who do you want at 3? And what quarterback is your favorite? And if there was an opportunity for the Bears to grab one, where would you like to see them take one? And who would you like to see them grab? Because I think the Bears have to draft a quarterback at some point in this draft. They have to. They have to. But like I said at the beginning of this Bears segment, they have an opportunity now, and they haven't really been in this position in a long time to capitalize on the athleticism that they have on the defensive end. It's going to be very exciting to see how Ryan Pace approaches this draft. I love it because last draft I was very high on him, and I still think he had a good draft last year. His first draft of the season, of his career, I liked it. I'm still going to rave about it. You can't really. The thing is with Kevin White, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. He's just got to be on the field. We got to see what he can do before we make any assumptions on the pick. Leonard Floyd turned out to be good. Those are your 2 first-round picks. We'll see what he decides to go. This is a big-time draft. I think he nailed it this offseason. I think he added depth. I think he added consistency. I think he added stability across the board in free agency, did Ryan Pace. So now you add in the young players, talented players, ready to compete for spots on the field, not even really starting spots, just opportunity to be on the field. And that's going to drive someone to be good. What do you think, Bears fans? What do you think? Chicago Bears going to be good this year or what? They released the schedules, did the NFL, and boy, howdy, it looks tough. It looks very tough, actually. I don't know if the Bears can win 16 games this year. It's going to be tough. So we're going to look right now, just some of note. There are 2 primetime games that the Bears are involved in this year, too, because, well, you can't get burned again if you're a national telecast putting on a bad team, out there. Anyway, we look at the Packers. They play in Lambeau again on Thursday Night Football. What else is new? Why do they do that every year? I don't know. I'm sick of it. But Bears-Packers, Thursday Night Football, Lambeau. And then the next week is against the Vikings on Monday night at home. So, 2 primetime games. I guess that's not terrible. And a couple other ones of note. Christmas Eve, they play the Browns, my favorite team in football, the Cleveland Browns, and the Bears. Bears will be at home for that Christmas Eve matchup, and then they play on New Year's Eve against the Vikings. That'll be the last game of the regular season. So just running through the schedule real quick, this is a tough start to the year. Falcons, Bucks, Steelers, Packers, Vikings, Ravens, Panthers, Saints. It just doesn't end. And I was waiting to kind of cut off that trail there, but before the bye, they have a bye week 9. Those 8 games, man, if 2-6, maybe, I don't know. I'm looking and it looks tough. It looks really tough for the Chicago Bears. Then after the bye, Packers, Lions, Eagles, Niners, Bengals, Lions, Browns, Vikings. So the second half sort of eases up a little bit. You got to see, or at least hope, the Bears can be competitive in the NFC North this season, because soon, guys, this division is going to be up for grabs if it's not already, because the Vikings aren't anything special. The Lions haven't and won't be anything special ever. And the Green Bay Packers may look like a juggernaut in the division, but really it's only Aaron Rodgers. So if you can find a way to stop Aaron Rodgers, this team is exceptionally beatable. And I think the Bears right now, the way they're building themselves, the way they're building their defense, the way they're approaching the offensive side of the ball, especially at the quarterback position, I think they can be good sooner rather than later. I think they're very close to being on the cusp of, well, I guess they should not very close to being on the cusp. They are on the cusp of being good here maybe soon. Maybe not next year. I would say 6 wins next year. I'll go 6-10. I want to see how this draft goes out. But early on, early signs, this is a transition year from being terrible, a laughingstock, to let me see some progress. Let me see tangible evidence as to why, one, Ryan Pace and John Fox should keep their jobs. Pace more so than Fox. Pace is going to be here for a bit, but John Fox is definitely on the hot seat. He's got to prove that he's still got it as a head coach. He can still get what you need from your players out on a weekly basis. Last year was bad. It was brutal, guys. 3-13, took so many steps backwards. This year, I expect a couple steps forward. I think this is going to be an opportunity for the Bears to prove to many fans who actually just didn't watch the team last year, just boycotted them, and I completely understand why. I mean, that was an embarrassment last year. I can't blame you fans for boycotting the team. That was brutal. So let's look for positive steps forward, and then they could be good, hopefully in 2018, right? We can hope, Mike Glennon, or what? All right, that's it. Let me know what you think down below. Tell me who you want to see get drafted at 3 overall. That's the pressing question with a draft. The NFL draft already a week away. Thank you guys for sticking around for this segment of Behind the Pen. If you want more Most Valuable Podcast content, click on the video up above, because I don't know why you wouldn't want to keep listening to our voices every day. But again, guys, thank you all for listening. We really do appreciate you.